We will continue solving this problem using the quadratic formula. So we plug in negative b. b is 9, so that's negative 9 plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 9 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 5, times c, which is negative 22. All over 2 times a, which is 5. And then we simplify what's underneath the radical, get it down to one number. So that's negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 81, and then multiply, treat 4 as a negative 4. Negative 4 times 5 times negative 22 would be a positive 440, all over 10. And then negative 9 plus or minus the square root of 521, all over 10. At this point, you will try to simplify the square root of 521, but this one will not simplify, so you are done. This would be your answer right here. Okay. The next part of the test will be to find the discriminant and describe the type of solutions you have and tell how many. Just like with solving quadratics, it should be set equal to 0. So we're going to first add 6, so that we have negative 4n squared minus 6n plus 3 equals 0. And we name our A, our B, and our C. A is negative 4, B is negative 6, C is 3. Now the discriminant is just B squared minus 4AC. And so we plug in the values for B and A and C. B squared is negative 6 squared minus 4 times A, which is negative 4, times C, which is 3. So that's negative 6 squared is 36. 2 negatives turns into a positive. 4 times 4 is 16, times 3 is 48. And then we add 36 and 48 would be, that's 4, carry 1, 7, 84. Okay, and if this number is positive, we'll have two real solutions, but we want to identify real either as rational or irrational. 84 is not a perfect square, so we have two irrational solutions. Next, we want to rewrite the quadratic equation that's in vertex form into standard form. And to do that, we first follow order of operations. We will take care of the exponent, which means we will FOIL here first. So that's 2 times x plus 4 times x plus 4. That's what that exponent tells us to do. Use x plus 4 as a factor twice. So we first FOIL, and that'll give us x squared. X times x is x squared. The outer is 4x, the inner is 4x. Add those together, we get 8x for our middle term, and then multiply the last. That's plus 16. Then distribute the 2. So that's 2x squared plus 16x plus 32 plus 1, and then the last thing you do is add 1. So it's 2x squared plus 16x plus 33. So that would be standard form for this particular equation. Then the next step, or the next part, will be to write standard form into vertex form. And to do this, we group the first two together. and within the parentheses we complete the square. So we'll have x squared plus 6x plus 5 stays on the outside. Inside the parentheses, we take half of 6 and square it. Half of 6 is 3. Square it is 9. Now we plus it and minus it. This is a little different than the regular completing the square when we're solving an equation. We're just adding 0, which doesn't change a thing. It's the first three numbers we want together. So that's x squared plus 6x plus 9. And we kick the negative 9 out of the parentheses. And then we factor. What did we square to get 9? 3. So it factors into x plus 3 squared. And then combine negative 9 and 4, which will be negative 5. So y equals x plus 3 squared minus 5. So my vertex will be negative 3, negative 5. Line of symmetry will be x equals negative 3. And will the vertex be a max or a minimum value? The graph will open up, so it will be a minimum. And then one more. When there's a number in front of x squared, we still group the first two together. If there's a number in front, we factor that negative 2 just from the first two terms. So that's negative 2, factor it out. That leaves me with x squared minus 4x. And leave the negative 4 on the outside. Okay, you're only taking the negative 2 from the first two terms because you have to group those together first. Then we take half of 4 and square it. Half of 4 is 2, square it is 4, so we plus 4 minus 4. Then we regroup. That's negative 2 times x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now remember, everything in parentheses had negative 2 as a common factor. So before I kick the negative 4 out, I give it back that factor. So negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8. And then we factor what's in parentheses, which factors into x minus 2 squared. And then we combine 8 minus 4, which is a positive 4. So my vertex is 2, 4. Line of symmetry would be x equals 2. Line of symmetry is always the x in your vertex, and write it as an equation because it's a vertical line that splits it into two parts. And then, is it a max or a minimum value of the vertex? Since this leading number is negative, the graph would open down, so it would be a max. And that will complete the review. You should now complete your test review sheet, and you should refer back to the video whenever necessary.